got trouble, got royalty inside my DNA. I got memories, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
In Central City, a mysterious man known as the Freezing Alchemist is loose and scrawling strange transmutation circles in hidden areas. At Central Command, Führer King Bradley takes advantage of Colonel Roy Mustang's recent visit to the capital and places him in charge of tracking the fugitive down. At the same time suggesting that the colonel make use of yet another temporary resident, the young Fullmetal alchemist Edward Elric. Lamenting his new orders and the fact that their trip to Riol has been delayed, the teenage Edward and his brother Alphonse, a young man clad entirely in steel armor, prepare to go into action. Military police attempt to cordon the Freezing Alchemist in the dark alleyways of Central, but he displays his unique powers by using alchemy to freeze, boil, and shape water in his surroundings, killing several of his pursuers in the act. However, he is drawn into a trap when Edward arrives and displays his own impressive abilities, performing alchemy without a circle and resisting Freezing's boiling alchemy with the use of his automail right arm. But as he is brought into custody, Freezing uncovers his final ace and uses transmutation circles tattooed onto his palms to break his restraints and escape once again. Back at Central Command, Colonel Mustang scolds Edward for taking action without taking his target's abilities into account and explains once again that their quarry is Isaac McDougal the Freezer, a former state alchemist who had served during the Ishval Civil War, but quit the state military and became an anti-government radical when the fighting ended. Meanwhile, McDougal has broken into Central Prison in order to recruit an old comrade, the incarcerated Crimson Lotus alchemist Solf J. Kimbley, to his cause. Referring to the mysterious atrocities that the state alchemists were ordered to perform in Ishval, McDougal suggests that Kimbley's assassination of his superior officers during the war in protest to the military's shady activities. But Kimbley laughs him off and notes that he only murdered them because he wanted to and not for some idealistic principles. Disappointed, McDougal leaves by himself but returns to his work, drawing more of his unique transmutation circles around the city and remarking that his actions will be King Bradley's undoing. The next day, the military efforts to find McDougal are doubled and Mustang himself joins the search. As McDougal puts the finishing touches on his last circle, he is discovered and attacked by the strong-arm alchemist, Alex Louis Armstrong. Their battle draws the attention of Ed and Al, who rush over to back up Major Armstrong, but McDougal escapes again. He is discovered by Colonel Mustang, who he identifies as the Flame Alchemist, but escapes capture by using his ability to transmute water to counter Roy's flame alchemy. He heads to one of his many transmutation circles only to be met by the Elric brothers, who have deduced his location by noticing a pattern in his movements. But before they can engage him once more, the Freezing Alchemist puts his plan into effect and, with an odd new display of alchemical power, causes each of his transmutation circles around the city to react simultaneously, erupting in gigantic, growing mountains of ice. Meanwhile, hidden from all sight, a mysterious being takes sudden and silent notice of the strange new energy's activation. As Ed and Al deduce that McDougal could only perform such remarkable new feats with the aid of the legendary Philosopher's Stone, the Freezer demands to know whether Fullmetal truly understands what Central Command is plotting for the country. Fleeing again, McDougal's walls of ice continue to grow and shift despite the military's best efforts to stop them. Edward realizes that the Freezing Alchemist is attempting to create a gigantic ice transmutation circle with military headquarters as its center. As Armstrong and Mustang work together to disable the circles on the ground, the Elrics go after McDougal and throw off his momentum. In the struggle, however, McDougal knocks off Alphonse's helmet and realizes that the armor-clad boy is empty inside, a hollow suit of steel with a soul bound to it by way of a blood rune. Seeing this, he realizes that the reason for the boys' unusual bodies must be that they had performed alchemy's greatest taboo, human transmutation. Furious at Freezing's remarks, Edward attacks again and knocks MacDougall to the ground, where he flees his pursuers by slipping once again into a back alley. Yet, before he is able to make a clean getaway, MacDougall encounters King Bradley himself, who draws his sword and cuts the fugitive down with inhuman skill and speed. As MacDougall's blood spills into the gutter, a small red stone floats along in the stream and turns to dust. The mysterious being from before notices the sudden end of strange energy and returns to the shadows. In Riol, a mysterious woman and her companion learn of MacDougall's death and remark that he would have made a good human sacrifice. The woman assumes that he must have overused his stone and says, "Our mission will begin very soon."